Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? I'm back. And it didn't take me 3 weeks this time. Aren't you proud of me? Okay. So, over in spiritual development training, we are talking about protection, spiritual protection, energetic protection, psychic protection, why it is so important. And on the last video, I made mention of a few things. So I want to go into a little bit of detail about one or two of them in this video. But first, let me start by saying thank you and giving a shout out to the patrons that joined here recently over on in the spiritual development training course on Patreon. Shout out to Annika, to Cherie, Taylor, Amanda, Delita, Autris, Princess, and to Donna. Thank you so much for joining, and just dive right in, right? The first course, I'm not really going to say course because we just change topics every month. So the first topic was meditation and the many different ways that you can meditate, stressing that point about how meditation is not about clearing your mind. I say it so much. So dive right in there, jump into that, and I'm putting up more and more about protection. We're going to start our reading, and we have some things planned for the month, some things that we're going to do live. So if you want to join in, the link will be in the description of this video. Thank you so much. For those of you that are just wanting to just jump in and practice, you just want to practice your abilities and develop them a little bit more, but not really seeking the one-on-one learning or the hands-on learning kind of thing. Feel free to join us on Facebook in Conscious Creators. We put up different kinds of practice activities every week. You can get some questions answered in there, but that is not a one-on-one space. Just so you are aware, it is a whole group. For one-on-one coachings, feel free to contact me. You can email me at withloveasé@gmail.com. All right, so let's get into this. Let's talk about this protections. Let's talk about protection, okay? In the last video, I talked about raising your vibrations, and I talked about different crystals and stones, or that you can use different crystals and stones. We also talked about decluttering your space, mentally, emotionally, physically, okay? And we talked about calling in different beings and entities or your guides, to be able to do that. So in this video, let's talk about raising your vibrations. Let's kind of put that in this space. For raising your vibrations, you can do that in so many different ways. It is so important because, and for me, I'm going to tell you, this is the base. This is the base of anything. Because even if you don't raise your vibrations, right? If your vibrations are down here on like 300 hertz, okay? If your vibrations are down here, but you've got your space is decluttered, your life is you don't have a lot of junk in your house. If you are carrying tiger's eye and obsidian and all kinds of stuff, and even if you are calling on beings to come and help you, if you are still vibing down here, how well do you think those things are going to work? Now, we'll have somebody tell me, oh, but it's impossible if you're doing all of those things for your vibrations to still be down there. Yeah, it's possible. It's very possible. I can keep a completely clean house and still be like this angry person that's just expecting everything bad to happen to me. Okay. I can have all the stones and crystals in my bra that I want and still be expecting for negative things to happen to me. I'm just negating all of those things that I'm doing. I'm just like making them null and void. That's basically, I just wrote a check to the universe and then I wrote void all over it. And that's just how that works. Okay. So you want to get your vibrations up. That's internal. That's in here. Okay. Get yourself into a positive mood, a happy mindset, a more vibrant mindset. The very first thing that I like to do and that I always push and tell is get into a gratitude space. Before your feet hit the floor in the morning, if you ever come to me for coaching, I'm going to have you do this. It's going to be a homework assignment, okay, that will repeat every single week. The first thing that I will tell you to do, make gratitude statements. When you get up in the morning, before your feet even hit the floor, start making gratitude statements, okay? I'm sorry, I'm trying to flush out a cold, okay? Y'all see the rings around my eyes, so I'm drinking so much water to get rid of this. All right, so try to count out at least 10 things that you're grateful for every single day. Count out 10 things just off the top of your head. This is not like affirmations, okay? Your life is not so much the same every single day that you can't find more and more and more to be grateful for. And in fact, if you start doing this, what you will notice is that you may start out only being able to list 3 things, right? But at some point, that list is going to start growing. When you get to 10 things, that's all I ask you to do, okay? But most often what happens is within like 30 days, people that started out only being able to list 3 things, within like 30 days to maybe 40 days, these people have a list that's just continually growing. They end up just having to make themselves have a cutoff time. They just start with a time frame and just say, you know what, I'm going to do gratitude statements for 10 minutes because the list just keeps going and going. Where you put your attention, where you focus your attention, those are the things that you're going to draw back to you. So if you're focused on being in gratitude, if you're focused on finding the blessings in your life, you're going to start noticing more and more and more blessings. And then guess what happens? You start attracting more and more and more blessings because your vibration goes up here. Okay. So that's the first thing. We want to do that. Let's focus on doing that first. Get the gratitude in. When you create yourself a gratitude mindset, you also create a mindset of okay, this is the one that everybody wants to hear. You open yourself up to receiving, okay? Here's how this also impacts though, because when you open yourself up to being in gratitude for things, most of the time, most people, as they're getting into that happy mode right there, into that higher frequency, they also become servants. Become servants of others. Okay. When you're in such a high vibrational space, that generosity factor kicks in. You're more helpful. You're kinder. You're more generous. You want to share more. Even if it's just sharing smiles, you're sharing more. You're helping other people to raise their vibrations. Okay. And the more you give, the more you receive. That's just kind of like one of those like life laws. Okay. So there's that. The other thing that I'll talk about in this video is decluttering your space. Remember that I said this is not just about your physical space, although it is about your physical space, but it's not just that. It's your mental space. It's your emotional space. It's the people in your life, the relationships, everything. If it is not serving you, get rid of it. Throw it out. Clean out your car, clean out your purse, clean out your closet. Get rid of all those extra pots and pans and dishes and all that stuff. Get rid of all of those things that you don't need, that you don't use. If you have clothes hanging in your closet that's been hanging in there for over a year and you have not worn them once in the last 12 months, get rid of them. You don't need them. They're just taking up space. They're stagnant. That's stagnant energy. If you're a hoarder, please get help and get rid of all of that stuff. It's stagnant energy. Okay. And we can be hoarders of different things. Okay. So, clear out your space. I am actually in the process of doing this right now. So, like the Patreon crew is going to get to see me go through some of this month because I am going to open my home a little bit and show some of the things that I'm decluttering and getting rid of and why. That whole thing about if it doesn't bring you joy, you don't need to have it. Like seriously, if it does not bring you any joy, if it's just kind of there in case you need it, get rid of it. The same thing with people, okay? If it is, especially if they're toxic, I don't care if they're your relatives. I don't care if you guys have been friends for the last 23 years. If they are no longer serving your greatest and highest good, get rid of them. And it's fine to release people and light and love and all of that. Here is the reality there, okay? I am not saying if you have a person that y'all just had a little falling out, okay, and now you just need to cut them off. That's not what I'm saying, okay? You didn't like how this person spoke to you in this one conversation, so get rid of. That's not what I'm saying. I am talking about truly toxic people, okay? And I'm not talking about you need to borrow some money, or you want something and this person didn't do it for you, and so now you need to. That's not what I'm saying either, because if that's the way that it is, you're just using people. That's not what I mean. I mean people who are truly toxic. Okay, for those of you that have been following me for a while on Facebook, you know a little bit of my background with the abuse and things like that. Anybody that was connected to it had to go. You had to go. If you were connected to the abuse, if you were one of those people who tried to make me feel bad for cutting off abusers and things like that, no, you had to go. All that had to go. Nope. You cannot be in my space if you are not adding to or supportive of my growth, my happiness, my development, my joy. Because guess what? Anybody that's in my space and in my circle, I am going to be that way for them. I am going to be supportive and happy and encouraging. I want to see everybody prosper and elevate and expand and do well and heal and all of that. That's what I want for other people. So yes, those people in my space need to be those same kind of people that want that for me too, right? Okay, so that's what I'm telling you. If it's somebody that maybe you guys just grew apart, maybe you've just grown in different directions, maybe, you know what I mean? You're no longer serving each other's greatest and highest goods because you're in totally opposite places. If it is that way, especially if it is that way to the point of there's resentment or there's arguing all the time and things like that. If you have just grown so far apart that you can't coexist in the same space, let it go. Let it go. Sometimes that is the universe like pulling you apart and telling you it's time. You need to reach your maximum potential. They need to reach their maximum potential. And sometimes we have to part company in order to be able to do that. And that is okay. It's okay. Make peace with that and allow it. Okay? But think about it within yourself. Think about it within yourself and what's best for you, and do that thing. It's okay to release. It's okay to release. It's okay to do what you need. One of the things that you will hear me repeat quite often is that self-care is not selfish. Okay? So raising your vibrations, that's self-care. Decluttering your mental, emotional, physical, whatever space, even if it is people, even if they're relations, okay? It's okay. Self-care is not selfish. It's necessary for your mental and emotional well-being. I know people have this deal about it's blood. You know, it's blood, it's family. You don't do that to family, blah, blah. Well, we can agree to disagree there, okay? Some family they're toxic, okay? And it's okay to give yourself plenty of distance and a huge wide girth. It is okay. Okay? All right, so we're gonna stop there with just those two, because for those other things, there's more detail and some meditations that we will do for those. But for these, let's start here. Okay? If you are with me over in the spiritual development training, I am posting a link to some reading materials, and so we're going to dive into that next. For everyone else, thank you so much for joining in, for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications. I am going to be more active, and pretty soon I guess I'll come over here and do some live card pulls and readings. You guys have a beautiful rest of your day. With love, Asé.